Welcome, Sagittarius Ascendant, Sagittarius Rising. This is G coming in with your June 2020 rest of the month video. We are going to pick up on the 21st. The 21st of June is the eclipse. It happens at 0 degrees Cancer. This eclipse creates a hot button point, meaning it stays active for like 3 to 5 years. That sounds crazy, I know. But knowing for you in your chart where this happens in your life is going to help you navigate these waters for that time period, okay? And talk about 5 things. I'm going to try to keep it concise. I want to mention real quickly, I have playing right here Tam&Kel video, okay? The channel is called Tam, T-A-M, and Kel, K-E-L. They are awesome. They are a dynamic duo. They have lots of furry friends on their videos, and I always walk away feeling better. Astrology can be a heavy topic at times, and so I have found some awesome neighbors in the YouTube community who helped me to stay up, who helped me to feel a little bit lighter. And so I wanted to share them with you because they've been great supporters. And I think that the best thing that we can do is support each other within our community to show our unity. All right, so Sagittarius Ascendant, Sagittarius Rising. This is the 8th house, okay? Your 8th house is where the eclipses occurred. Now, this is a general reading, so if you know something about astrology and you're looking at 0 degrees and you're saying, that's in my 7th, then fine, then it's in your 7th. But this is about a general reading for Sagittariuses where their 0 degrees of Cancer may likely occur in their 8th house. Here's the deal. If it happens right on that cusp line, it's going to be a little bit of both. It's going to be a bit of your 7th and your 8th house stuff, all right? But for this reading, we're just going to focus on the Cancer energy. Cancer is family, all right? Having Cancer energy in your 8th house is a deep connection, a deep bonding from folks from past lives. This is what it is. There may have been people that you've hooked up with and you had such a deep resonation with, but over time, there was a splitting that occurred. There was a division. See, here's the thing. When we connect up with other souls from other lifetimes, or how about this, if that upsets you, when we connect with other people that we've had history with in this lifetime, many times we think we have to be with these individuals forever, like it's death do us part type of stuff. But people grow, and not everybody grows in the same way, and that's okay. There is no shame in it. There's nothing wrong with it. We're supposed to grow. The hard thing is, are you smart enough? Are you thinking clear enough to separate from it? Because when something goes sour and it goes bad, hanging in there sometimes, it's like you drag it out, and it's usually quite painful. So I am a big believer in, I'm not saying bail, right? I'm not saying that, but I'm a big believer in create space and have a chance to recalibrate and to see what really still is. And so I'm hearing from a lot, and have seen actually in the last 18 months already, I've seen a lot of Sagittarius risings where there's been separations occurring, whether that was through friendships, marriages, whatever. But here's an explanation for that. The 0 degrees Cancer eclipse is such a powerful eclipse that it can happen months before the eclipse itself, before the actual event. So if you have planets that were squaring it, like 90 degrees square it, or if you have planets that were conjunct the 0 degrees Cancer stuff, it triggers sooner. All right. Now, wait till you hear the areas of your life that it triggers, and then you'll be like, that makes a lot of sense, right? So your 8th house, deeply bonded house, you're energetically bonded, not just by your past, but by emotions. Yeah, they got like the 70s things going on. I love them. Anyway, which is, it's funny. They're extremely entertaining. What I'm looking at is that the square, the testing, the tension, the stress occurs in your 5th house of romance, of children, of creativity, of joy, of fun, okay? Your 8th house squares with that, and it also squares with your 11th house. And your 11th house energy is your significant one-on-one relationship energy. It's that interesting combination where in your groups, you also have relationships that you're really close with, like partnerships. And so there's a very good chance, and of course this is the 11th house, so this is internet community as well. Let's not exclude that. there's this good chance, because I know people where there have been, separations, divorces, breakups in the last 18 months. And this eclipse energy brings about more of that. And it's not a bad thing. It's a clearing away. It's a releasing. It's a time, it's this Plutonian energy. It's Pluto, where it says, this is no longer growing. It's like the tree across the street. It's no longer growing. So we take it down. We get rid of it. It's just sitting there dead. It's gigantic. It's huge. But if it gets hit by lightning, it could be very dangerous. So we have to get rid of it. It's the same idea. And many times that is very painful, because these are people we have history with. And not just history from this life, or if it's from this life, it's people we have history from way back. We go way back. And so it hurts even more. Well, it's cancer. Cancer is emotions. It's feelings. So understand that, if you were to say it's been very painful, it has been. It has been, because you've got your deep bonded emotions in your 8th house. So it's on a layer that you feel vulnerable. Okay, that's how deep it is. And that's understandable. Now, the 11th house and having your one-on-one relationship energy there could mean you meet people, your friends, and somehow they evolve into partnerships and they start to looking more like, really committed partnerships. There's a squaring of this, okay? And so when I say the word square, that means there could be additional testing and stress. If you have planets in Libra energy in your 11th house, then you'll experience that around the eclipse time, okay? Now, the other part of your house, right, this third thing that we're going to talk about is your 5th house energy. Your 5th house is your romance department. It's also your creative endeavors and projects, which, by the way, you would love to keep starting them, right? You might not be so great on finishing them, but you love being very creative. You would be really good at taking action and being athletic, like getting involved in athletic things, because the 5th house is the house of athletics, and you've got Aries energy there, so you want to do fun stuff with the body. But Aries loves to be physical. It is the body. But it does have a tendency, so in the department of romance, you would have a tendency to rush into love. Keep that in mind. And I'm especially going to point this out because here's number 4. For the next 6 months, starting at the end of June, Mars will be in your 5th house. Now remember, Mars represents our body, okay? Remember, 5th house is romance. 5th house is also children, so a desire for wanting to have children. Sometimes we do anything to have children. It just depends, right? It depends, because family we know is important to you. You have Cancer energy in your 8th house. Family's going to be really important. There's this thing called the mother wound. It's a real thing. You can even Google it and read about it. Everybody has their different ideas of what it means, and it's not, nobody's wrong and nobody's right. It's just, how it ended up being in your life or in your memory, right? In your soul print type of thing. There is this thing connected with your 8th house and your 5th house, because the 5th house is having children. Children is an expression of my creativity. It is a sign. It is a way of, wow, look what I did. This is the spotlight. These are my children, right? So they can be things we make with our hands, or they can be things that literally come from as an extension of who we are. And having the connection with the 8th house and the Cancer energy and the mother wound, just recognizing that when Mars gets there, you might feel this extra surge, this extra drive, this all of a sudden like, God, I thought I got over that. I thought I was past the I need to have children thing, right? And so this might resurge. This might come back up again. Mars being there for the next 6 months, recognize that Mars is very impulsive. Mars likes to just express in these energetic bursts. Mars is the ego, all right? And what you want to do is understand that for the next 6 months, for the rest of 2020, for all of us, not just you, for all of us, for the rest of 2020, we are being asked to show our mastery over the ego. What does that mean? We are being asked to show that we do not allow Mars. Pretend that Mars is a soldier or a male, because it's masculine energy. Pretend that it's standing behind you and that it's constantly pushing you and saying, oh, but do this, do that, do this, and it keeps pushing you. Pretend that it does that, and that one day you decide, you turn around and you say, you put the hand up and you say, no more, no more. There are times when I need that push, and when I need the push, I'll ask for it. And that's taking control of the ego, all right? make sure you don't over-identify with the ego, because that's what Mars does. It has such strong passions and desire that we over-identify with it. And this, again, is for all of us, okay? So realizing what area of your life it's going to be sitting in will help you. Now, the sixth thing is that if Mars, was that the fifth or the sixth? I don't know. Mars sitting in your fifth house for 6 months for the rest of 2020, right, starting at the end of June, that means that Mars is going to be squaring, right, which is testing and stress and tension, to your 8th house energy, which is your Cancer energy, which is where I began the beginning of this video. So remember, Cancer is my feelings about family, my emotions. So maybe that means you're feeling like, oh, hell no, I don't want family, I don't want to have children, but maybe you're doing a lot of feuding with people from your past. That could be this at this time too. Everybody is different. You have free will. All I do is read the energies, okay? Free will is very much factored into this. Matter of fact, I have a video out about that. I did it way back, and I literally break down like the frequencies and the ability of them to express in your life. I break it down in percentages and then where your free will comes into play. I have it all broken down, and I treat it all as an experiment. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, to you, this is the truth. But I observe and I watch and I learn, and I use my life, myself as a guinea pig. And then every time I connect with somebody here, I listen to what they have to say, and then I read it and I see how it worked for them. So be aware of that stress and tension with that 8th house. It's also going to set up, this is your little nugget, your next, like your number 6, and then I'm ending it, is that if Mars is in your 5th house and it stresses the emotions and the feelings, it is also going to send some beams of stress and tension to your 2nd house. It's going to square with your Capricorn energy, and this is in your 2nd house of what I value. You value things that are tangible, that are material, okay? There's a higher level to values, all right? It's not just all about the material world, and it's not that it's wrong to value that. It's just that you're exploring, you're being tested. You will be tested. You are tested. We are all tested with this Capricorn, with Mars squaring Capricorn energy. But if it's testing your 2nd house, recognize that there are things in your 2nd house, values that you are being asked to release, because that's where the South Node is, or was. And so you had to release a whole bunch of stuff, all right? But Aries squaring it means that it's your income it's squaring, all right? So realizing that Mars is going to say, how badly do you want it? How hard are you willing to work for it? And knowing that you can do it, you just need to learn how to use the Martian energy and that Martian power, and allow the soul to control, not your ego. Sag, I hope this has helped. Peace.